Hi Sagittarius, for this eclipse reading I'm using the Hermit card as I suppose, a guiding card for a message for you for the eclipse season. And these pieces of paper, I've written some of the meanings that I think that I attribute to the Hermit card. So I'm going to pick just one of these ones for you. What is it? Tap into spirit. So it can mean you're at a phase where you are wanting to tap into spirit, or that's what you do when you have a problem or you're looking for the answer. It could also be like a spiritual awakening. So what is the message? The central card is the Page of Swords. So it is a card of learning, you know, at the beginning stages. Or can be. You've got the Five of Cups there. And the Knight of Swords. That's the present position. So the recent past is the Queen of Swords. The Knight of Cups. I'll move that. Hopefully it'll stop that flare. No, it's not going to make a difference. Oh, I just have to push on. And the Emperor. And what's coming towards you, this eclipse energy, is the Queen of Cups, the card of balance, the Two of Pentacles. Oops, we'll wipe his face out. And the Judgment card. I was about to say, oh, there's not many majors in this, and then you get another one. Underneath the deck, the Nine of Swords and the Queen of Wands, which is fire energy. So this is the only minor arcana, fire, and then you've got the Emperor, is fire energy, which is interesting. So you've got a few cards that indicate messages coming in. Here, 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 and here. The recent past, it looks like you have received some message of truth. It could have been a message of I was going to say harsh truth, but more of a message that is being authoritative, I think it is. The Emperor, that's his energy. You know, what he says, he expects that to happen. The directions that he gives, he expects them to be followed through. So there's that kind of energy. The present, it feels like you might be sort of dealing with some sort of grief, some sort of loss, you know, and you've got that message, possible message, delivering a comment, a narrative, perhaps of truth. So there's truth here, you know, it's like you're facing some sort of truth. You know, I don't really see you represented here. I mean, you could be, this is the central card, the Page of Swords. Perhaps that's how you feel. Perhaps this eclipse is going to bring clarity, or it's going to bring an understanding of, I'm getting like a multitude of messages. So whether those messages are just coming from human beings or, you know, coming from spirit, or both. This judgment card, this can indicate past loved ones. You know, the message from past loved ones. I don't normally see that in that, but I am seeing it here. You know, a caring, compassionate message. It's interesting, you've got two queens here facing into the middle, and then you've got grief. I feel that there could be a feminine energy around you that could be quite supportive. And I think it's quite likely that that is possibly somebody from spirit, possibly a relative. It doesn't have to be you know, people in spirit don't have to be people that you know. They can be ancestors or people who have passed, you know, 20, 40 years before you were born. Could be a relative that was alive when you know, that you knew, or that was alive during your youth or whatever, but you didn't actually know, because those people are concerned too for their loved ones' children, and, you know, their extended family and their ancestors. I mean, I don't really know any of this, but this is just what I believe. I don't know for a fact that happens, apart from, you know, concrete examples that I've experienced. Yeah, I haven't got any proof of that, for sure. This central row is really, it feels like an energy of learning. You know, there's something offered here. There's definitely a preparedness to learn and to take it in, even though it might feel like it's a big step up. And then here is an energy of balancing that and coping. I feel that whatever you've been through, you know, whatever this grief is, this disappointment, this is showing the ability to balance. And also the judgment is a card of renewal, rejuvenation. And I do feel that some of this energy it could be coming from people, you know, individuals who don't necessarily understand you, or don't necessarily, you know, you don't necessarily get on with, or perhaps you clash with, perhaps you have to deal with, perhaps you have to take orders from, perhaps you're given unsolicited advice, that kind of thing. And perhaps sometimes you feel quite young and quite immature. It's not to say that you are, but it just might be in certain areas, or because of the environment that you're in, or the experiences that you've had. This is a very supportive energy here for you at this time. It's supportive for you to learn. It is supportive. And coming back to this, I feel that, especially with this Hermit card, because the Hermit card, if I haven't already mentioned, is the tarot card of the year. That's why I've got it here. And it is a Virgo card, and this, even though we're now out of Virgo season, it is a Virgo card. And it's a card of spirituality. It's a card of learning about spirituality. And I think it's perfect that you've got this tap into spirit. Words here. because I feel that that's what is, even if it's not uppermost in your mind, it could be something that you have thought about, or you may not have even thought about it. You may be watching this hoping that you're going to find out if your boyfriend's going to come back to you or something like that. Well, who knows? But what I would say is tapping into spirit is going to, if not give you the answers, it's going to help you to cope with, this sort of energy, this sort of grief, this sort of disappointment. It's interesting here because you've got the Emperor and you've got the Judgment card, and you've got this Knight in between. So I wonder if you're a go-between in some way, between two people or an organization. Are you the communicator? Are you learning how to communicate? Are you learning how to, because Sagittarius is very much about higher learning. Learning how to better communicate. With perhaps the hope of bringing people together. But it's almost like you've got to establish a good connection first. And I'm not necessarily talking about with spirit here. I'm talking about with the people around you. Or a better connection. A better level of understanding. But possibly particularly people who you don't see eye to eye with. I feel that this is a very, it's often a card of suggesting to look after yourself and to be compassionate towards yourself. Give yourself, a level of compassion that you would to your best friend. That's how I like to read the Queen of Cups.